safe streets, vibrant neighborhoods, successful business and commerce. These are things that make a healthy community. We are a diverse community, rural, suburban, urban, a multitude of languages and ethnicities, ages and experiences. We are a collaborative community. Public-private partnerships make us a model community that others want to follow. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us strong. The employees of Kent County reflect our diversity and seek to serve our communities.
People in this county, in this area, we wrap our arms around each other. We come together to collaborate, to solve problems. We're all working for the good of the whole. And I think that's wonderful. And you can see it. You can see it as you drive around Kent County.
Our impact starts the day a baby is born and a birth certificate is issued, to protecting children from deadly diseases through vaccination, to the public safety and justice provided by law enforcement and the courts, to offering veterans services and caring for the elderly. Every day we work to keep our communities robust.
I think if you are somebody who's interested in serving your community, in building a strong knowledge base and a good group of people to work with, then the county is one of your best employment opportunities out there. It's been completely rewarding in every way I could possibly explain for 26 years, and I feel like I grow every single day still today.
Leading these dedicated employees, our 19-member Board of Commissioners and our County Administrator Controller, along with our elected officials and appointed department directors, placing emphasis on civic involvement, quality housing, vibrant neighborhoods, and strong, solid infrastructure to allow businesses to thrive. Professional, dedicated, collaborative, and innovative.
Behind the scenes, collaboration between foundations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses, public sector demonstrated through the county, the city of Grand Rapids, the townships, all the cities and the villages in our area. If we don't come together, then we will not have the strength that we have today, and I only hope to build upon that.
Our aim is to make our communities the best they can be. We are involved in exciting development projects, sustainable recycling programs, and creative progressive prevention programming. We partner with elected officials, impacting policy ideas that become great achievements. We seek opportunities to reach out into the community and offer our services to help our residents make Kent County thrive.
Our relationship is solid, both from a staff standpoint at the county level as well as the Board of Commissioners. And they understand what we do and the benefits that we can do for the community, and vice versa. We couldn't do what we do without the help of Kent County.
While most of us are busy running our lives, Kent County's elected officials, administrator controller, and over 1,600 employees are serving the communities where we live our lives, so we can all have a place we are proud to call home. Kent County, its life well run.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to the Finance and Physical Resources Committee. It is Tuesday, August 21st at 8:30 a.m. We are going to open with public comment. Is there any public that has any comments this morning? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. That brings us to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved and supported. Any items that need to be pulled? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 3, friend of the court, Juvenile Detention, Kent County Community Action, Sheriff.
Yes, this is a request to the commissioners to add 3 correction officers to meet state mandated indigent defense standards, 1 county patrol officer, 1 caseworker, 1 assigned to the friend of the court, 20 youth specialists, and 1 cook to staff the expanded juvenile detention facility, and convert 1 part-time continuing quality improvement specialist to full-time at the Kent County Community Action. The sheriff is requesting 3 full-time corrections officers to ensure compliance with the state indigent defense standards. The estimated cost of the positions included in the approved indigent defense plan funded by the state. The friend of the court is requesting a caseworker, and sheriff is requesting a 3rd full-time county patrol officer and vehicle to help resolve outstanding warrants. The estimated cost of these positions, including necessary equipment, will be funded by the Title IV-D grant and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services medical incentive payments. Juvenile Detention is requesting 20 specialists and 1 cook to staff the expanded facility. The annualized state estimated cost is $1.3 million. The positions will be funded by the state 50% and the county general fund 50%. Because 2019 will be a partial year, the estimated first-year total cost for these positions will be $659,000. The addition of these positions and the expanded facility will allow more children to be placed in the county facility with enhanced programming rather than being placed in an out-of-county facility, resulting in a significant cost savings. Kent County Community Action is requesting to convert its part-time continuous quality improvement specialist position to full-time status to improve the department's ability to ensure optimal utilization of available grant funds and to submit grant applications. The estimated cost to convert these positions to full-time status will be covered by Community Services Block Grant and Housing Choice Voucher funds. If funding is eliminated or decreased, the positions will be eliminated unless continuation funding is approved pursuant to the fiscal policy on grants, contracts, and donations. This item was recommended for approval by the Legislative and Human Resources Committee at its August 14, 2018 meeting.
Is there a motion to approve? Okay, moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion. Let's start with Commissioner Voorhees.
Thank you, Chair Jones. This one's got me a little perplexed because it does start in October of 2018. I can understand that we've got plenty of money in the 2018 budget, but I don't know about 2019, and I want to hear more of what we find out in September. But it does start in 2018. I will be a yes on that, but the others that are for 2019 budgets, I will be a no.
Okay.
Can I just speak to that?
Please.
Majority of this funding that we're approving here comes from other funding sources, other grants and so forth. So hopefully you also understand that the county is not on the hook for most of these dollars for these requests.
If I may,
Go ahead.
Madam Chair. Under cost funding recommended, it says funding will be included in the health fund budget. Is that the one I'm on? So I take it comes out of general fund, but it's replaced by other dollars?
Yeah,
I don't see that.
those dollars will be flowing into the county's budget from other sources.
To cover this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Bukowski.
Thank you, Chair. There was, at least on the online version of this, there was a really cool chart that said like grants, general fund, total, and I can't seem to put my fingers on it as it relates to the printed version that's in front of me. That being said, my first go around, I'm just going to comment on the second bullet point, friend of the court request, just to make sure everybody remembers the history of this. A couple of years ago, we approved 2 deputies originally, and those 2 deputies, that was the group from the African-American community that said, hey, don't send deputies in there, we want to work with you. The friend of the court is here if you have additional pieces and questions, for him on this. But since I was the chair of the task force, worked with Commissioner Voorhees, Commissioner Korndike, and the rest of the community, we believe we got to a good part. One of our changes that we recommended is that a commissioner is on to the Friend of the Court Advisory Committee, and that was me. I guess no good deed goes unpunished. But it really has been, I like government work, so it has been fun getting to know the Friend of the Court stuff, getting to know the Friend of the Court staff that are working on this. And so even though I'm pretty certain it was unanimous when we approved the 2 deputies and it caused issues, at least I hope this portion is unanimous. Again, it's totally grant funded. It continues to show good outcomes. The undersheriff is part of those meetings when we talk, at that committee, we talk very consistently about the cultural competency of those deputies, the challenge of just the way life is, but always working to make this the most impactful program. And so again, it's good use of these dollars. It's again, zero general fund. So all of that long stump speech is simply to say, we've come a long way over the last 2 years. I continue to thank the front of the court and his staff of their hard work. Even though we still don't have mine and Commissioner Voorhees' goal to get friend of the family, there also has been a lot of work with the responsible parenting program and other things to, again, really make sure that we're as far upstream as possible with all parents to say, here's your responsibility. And even when they turn 18, since I got 3 18 and older, they don't go far. So, so all that being said, I'm happy to have no issues with that second bullet point, and again, continue to thank the front of the court for his and his staff's hard work, the rest of the community that he's partnering with, and I'll see him on September 10th, I think it is, for our next advisory committee meeting.
Okay, Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you. I'd like my own stump speech now, and I just like to say I agree with Commissioner Bolkowski.
That's always fun. Okay, anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Hennessy.
Just clarifying, these basically then, we no longer consider the state contracts by, in the state budget by itself by October 1st or during September, but this basically would be a part of what would have been
Yes, correct.
traditionally a part of our
Correct.
consideration
Yes.
for the state
We changed it a
budgets.
couple of years ago, yes.
Right, okay. Just clarifying,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay,
Great point.
yes, Commissioner Bolkowski.
Now, just hopefully a simple question for someone from the Sheriff's Department. Why do we need 3 full-time correction officers to comply with the indigent defense standards? What improved services are we going to have?
Good morning, Chuck DeWitt, Chief Deputy Over Corrections. So one of the 3 positions is dedicated to work with the 61st District Court and facilitating their plan of action for meeting the state standards for the new law. They are going to be meeting one-on-one with defendants, and it's going to require 1 and at times 2 of our visiting booths down in our main central area that allows for the personal contact visits. We have a total of 3. So as a result of those 2 rooms at times being used exclusively for that purpose, we now have to open up a new area of the jail that had been mothballed, for lack of better terms, for a period of time to allow for additional personal contact visits to take place. To open up that area, we had to have a deputy assigned to monitor that traffic, those visitors. So that's the second position. The third is to assist with facilitating, getting those visits to take place in that area, as well as fulfilling the obligations from the other district courts plan on getting the opportunity for the defendant to meet with the assigned attorney through a polycom. So it's a combination of the 2 plans to try to meet the standards.
Continue.
Thank you, Chair. Real quick, so that the standards, they talk about like the amount of time a defendant needs to have with his or her attorney and response time for meetings and things like that?
Yes. So there, my understanding, there isn't you have to meet X number of minutes per inmate. However, there is the additional, if they are still incarcerated, they do have to be seen within 3 days. So a combination of the need to see prior to the arraignment, the compressed schedule to facilitate the next meeting after that assignment has been made is requiring all 3 of these positions.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Hennessy.
On the juvenile detention increase in staff, I was curious as to the statement that, more children will be placed locally, and I was, curious how we're, going to be saving money. It's more, how does this all operate, and how are we changing the operations of this area?
We'll have Andy Dahlhammer come up from the circuit court who oversees the juvenile detention.
Andy Dahlhammer, 17th Circuit Court Administrator. If I understand the question, Yeah, right now, if we have kids that for whatever reason can't be managed in the community, typically because they're either a danger to themselves or to the community itself, they're gonna keep, committing crimes or whatever, then what we will do is we will send those to residential treatment facilities. And we've got kids as far as Pennsylvania, we've got kids, certainly out of the county, Lansing, north of us, an hour and a half each way. If we have the capacity in our own detention facility, we can duplicate those services locally. So probation officers can stay involved. It's much easier for families to stay involved. And we'll have a little more flexibility with length of stay. We're not necessarily beholden to the program model, so to speak, that we're sending them to. So that's basically the difference. That was, these placements now cost upwards of $200 or more per night if we send a kid to one of those places. So keep them closer to home, so to speak.
So how much do you think we'll actually be saving? How much will this help us in the total? I mean, we're spending money, from what we see, we're spending money, but how much do we actually save?
Correct. Well, it's hard to say exactly. I mean, if you do the math, which I think I did, if there's 24 additional beds, and if you figure that it's $200 a night, assuming we keep them all filled, then, yeah, it will be certainly cost neutral and probably save a few dollars along the way. I can get you the exact figures as I've calculated them, if that's what you'd like.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the explanation.
Okay, Commissioner Voorhees?
Thank you, Chair Joe. Mine is on, questions on bullet point 3, where it states that the state will pay 50% of the cost. I've had enough experience with the state government that many times they put in, it starts off at 50 and then it goes to 25 or a third and then 25 and then 10. Do we have any guarantee on the length? I don't see us hiring 20 youth specialists and then 2 years later saying, we don't have the money, we're going to have 20 people laid off. What's the guarantee on state funding here?
Well, again, I'm not going to be in a position to guarantee the state doing things, but the child care fund has, that's been in the Constitution. The 50% reimbursement has been in there since, I think, a lawsuit came off in the late 90s. So that is one of the more protected state funding mechanisms, this 50% reimbursement that we get from them. So, I will say I'm extremely confident that that's going to continue. We've had a lot of struggles with the child care fund recently, with certain things being eligible, certain things not being eligible, payments being held up. We think we've pretty much, it was kind of a change of administration over there, so we think we've kind of weathered that storm, so to speak, and have figured out, exactly what they're looking for and how to get to them. Again, sometimes it's a moving target, but that's pretty much over at this point, and staffing for these types of services has never been in dispute. That's not one of the things that they've said, no, we're not going to pay for that anymore. It's more of our community-based programs that they're having issues with.
Thank you.
Commissioner Antor?
Thank you. Got a question for Chuck real quick. Chuck, on the Public Act 93, which is the state indigent defense standards, does that mean that it has to be face-to-face? Would there be video conferencing?
Yeah, my understanding is that it just has to be contact, does not have to be in person. 61st chose, they are going to do the face-to-face, the other district courts are going to facilitate it through Polly County.
It seems like that would be obviously a lot cheaper if you don't need as much manpower, or is that?
It's different, I'll give you that, it's definitely different. What's really burdensome, if you will, it's the occupying of the space. And because we are limited in that area of the jail for the personal contacts, that's what's offsetting the need to have to displace what typically would take place in that area up to C2 or other personal contact in this unit.
Then I had another question after the meeting. Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Morgan.
Hey, Chuck, hold on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
better stay in the front row, Chuck.
I can't remember your title.
Chief Deputy.
Oh, hey, Chief Deputy. So the 64th District Court, that's the district court in the city of Grand Rapids, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so the way they're handling this, you're saying that kind of cascaded these other two positions?
It's tied, the one position is absolutely dedicated for their operations, and it touches on the other as well.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
Take a third swipe if everybody's happy, but I don't think it's in your domain in the Sheriff's Department. I found the chart that we were forwarded. When it looks at 2019, there's a county patrol sergeant that is requested. Now, is that additional capacity needed because in high likelihood, we're going to approve the 6 additional deputy positions, 3 SROs and 3 in Byron? So is that, yeah, right, I knew chief deputy, that was the I knew that was a different, that's why I said it was a different domain. So I knew that, I've learned something.
Right, so, and that's not what's on the agenda
Okay, I know
today.
it's not on the agenda, however, as
So-
we asked earlier today in the work session, decisions we make today will have huge impacts, not huge, they'll have impacts on January 1 to say, yes, so we're gonna need this additional sergeant because of today, or,
In addition
In
to
addition.
because of today. So that sergeant would be over our school resource officer program. And in general, at the sheriff's office, for a law enforcement function, we try to keep about a 1-to-7 ratio for deputy to first line supervisor. In our community services unit, we're already at 1-to-15. And all the contracts for SROs go into the community services unit. So if we were to add the 3 for today, and there are more that we think will be coming, but if we were to add the 3 for today, that would put us at 1-to-17. So that ratio is already above what we would recommend, and it would be even further impacted. So by inserting a sergeant, that we have a little more first-line supervision, hands-on training, it's necessary for liability reasons, to make sure that there's a quality control over the work that's being done. It is quite complicated to supervise people who are all in different locations and geographically diverse throughout the county, so it does take a lot of travel time to even go make personal visits to people who are contracting with us, the schools. Does that answer your question?
it does, and so I'll save my SRO question for later. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
All right, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
One opposed, motion passes. We'll go on to item number 4 from the Health Department. Wayman.
Yes, this is a request to recommend the creation of 1 full-time sanitarian position in the Community Wellness Division of the Health Department. The City of Grand Rapids has made $185,000 in funding available through its Community Development Department for the Kent County Health Department to be a partner in the city's Michigan Department of Health and Human Services grant. The objectives of the grant are to remediate lead paint hazards in pre-1978 housing and to reduce elevated blood levels in young children. The primary objective of the Health Department is to assist property owners with the application process, generate community awareness of lead issues, and coordinate blood level testing of children. Secondary objective of the Health Department is to provide elevated blood lead investigations, including combined paint inspections and risk assessments, as well as clearance examinations for Medicaid and other federally funded lead hazard control projects throughout the county. To accomplish the task as outlined above, the Health Department is requesting to add 1 full-time sanitarian position in the Community Wellness Division lead program with a total cost of salary and benefits of $74,700. The grant funds from the City of Grand Rapids, as well as the cost of sanitarian position, will be included in the fiscal year 2019 Health Fund budget. The grant period is from October 1, 2018 through September 30, 2019. If funding is eliminated or decreased, the position will be eliminated unless continuation funding is identified pursuant to fiscal policy on grants, contracts, and donations. This item was recommended for approval by the Legislative and Human Resources Committee at its October 14 meeting.
Thank you, Wayman. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Support.
Okay, moved and supported. We'll do questions, comments, and discussion. Commissioner Bukowski?
Nature abhors a vacuum and silence. But anyways, just to simply say thank you, Adam, for your staff continuing to work with the city and secure grant dollars. Yeah, this is one of those environmental health issues that we know what to do. It just costs money, and I'm glad we can find our money that was given to the feds and others to bring back home. And so thank you for your continued hard work, and keep it up.
Anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Hennessy.
I'll support what Commissioner Bukowski said.
All right, with that, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We'll go on to item 5 from the Human Resource Department. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to approve a 5-year labor agreement for the period of January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2023 between the County of Kent and the Police Officer Labor Council Captains Lieutenants. The negotiating committee recommends approval of a 5-year labor contract with the Police Officers Labor Council Captains Lieutenants, which represents 21 members. Wages will increase 2.5% annually in 2019, 20, 21, and 2% in 2022 and 23. Either party may reopen the agreement during 2021 for negotiation of 2022 and 23 wages. The maximum retiree health care stipend will increase to $400 to employees who retire in 2019 or after. The total 5-year increase to the salary and benefit cost is $993,000. This item was recommended for approval by the Legislative and Human Resources Committee at its October 14 meeting.
Thank you, Wayman. Is there a motion to approve? In support? Moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Commissioner Bukowski?
Sorry.
You don't have
Not
to be
sorry. What's the overall percentage increase in the cost for these folks? In the sense of, I don't know if that would be a line item, because we know what the wage increase is, because we're at least locking ourselves into 3 years to 5 years of costs, and we believe the current bull market will last forever. They usually don't. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know what the exact number is, but at least for 2019, it's helpful that our costs going in from 18 into 19 will be relatively flat for healthcare and pension, which are both pretty big components of labor costs. So we just happen to have good news in terms of the funding department and for both of those benefits. So there is a little bit of an offset to the wage increase, and that we'd normally see an increase in those benefits. The other thing that we did do is put in a reopener after 3 years to allow us to respond in the event that there is a recession.
Relatively flat, do you know what that means?
For healthcare, the healthcare costs are exactly the same next year is what they are this year. For pension, if there is a difference, I think it actually went down. It's in the hundreds of percent of wages. So.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Commissioner Morgan.
Just a comment, the bull run may end, but taxes never seem to end. So, question for Amy. How long has the captains and lieutenants been part of a collective bargaining unit? It's always struck me as kind of
Sheriff can answer that one.
yeah, it's counterintuitive to me, I guess. So,
Welcome, Sheriff Stelma.
good morning, Sheriff.
Since I was a lieutenant.
Okay. All right, thank you.
That's a
Boy, be careful what you ask.
All right, Commissioner Voorhees.
Thank you, Chair Jones. It was brought up about the pensions. I noticed that percentage-wise, it's very small. Do you know what that dollar amount, I just compliment our pension program. We're overfunded in that area, but that's good. But what is that dollar savings? I'm looking at what's the dollar impact.
Oh, I want to make sure I understand your question. You want to know what the employer's contribution is going to be to the pension in 2019 versus this year?
Correct.
I'd have to get the information for you, unless, Steve, do you know offhand?
Get closer to
Percentages don't usually, it's percentage of what?
Either what percent of payroll is the county contributing for pension next year versus this year, or if you know the actual dollar contribution.
Did I cause you gray hair, Steve?
You need to give me a few minutes to look that up. I keep a lot of numbers in my head, but I don't have that one in my head right now.
I appreciate your work.
But I will get it for you.
Thank you.
So my question to you is, does that impact your ability to vote on this? Do you want to wait for the information? Or are you able to vote on it without it?
I have faith in our Human Resource Department.
Okay, just,
They've come up with some good contracts, and we better move ahead with it.
just wanted to check.
I appreciate your checking.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 6, also from Human Resources. Wayman?
Yes, it's a request to approve amendments to labor agreements for the Kent County Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Association, the Teamsters Local 214 Parks, and Circuit Court Referee Association. The negotiating committee recommends approval of an amendment to each of the above agreements. All 3 amendments change the wage increases in 2019 and 20 from 2% to 2.5% per year. All 3 amendments increase the $350 maximum monthly retiree health stipend to $400 for employees who retire in 2019 or after. In addition, the Circuit Court Referee Association amendment extends the agreement term from 3 years to 5 years and 2% and a 2% wage increase for 2021 and 22, and allows either party to reopen the agreement in 2020 for renegotiation of 2021 and 2022 wage rates. These changes make the Circuit Court Referee Association agreement consistent with the Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Association and Teamsters Local 2014 agreements. The total 5-year increase in salary and benefit cost is $166,000. This item was recommended for approval by the Legislative and Human Resources Committee at its August 14 meeting.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And support? Okay, moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Commissioner Morgan?
Just a quick comment. These 5-year contracts, they're great. I think it really helps us as we go into our bond reviews, and more 5-year contracts we can get the better. I just appreciate the 5-year contract.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
Yeah, the total seems oddly small. The previous resolution dealt with 21 members of the, Captain Lieutenant unit. So those 21 members, the increase is just shy of $1 million. And this is almost twice that number of employees, and 34 of them are prosecuting attorneys, so they can't be cheap. That 5-year increase is only $166,000.
Yeah, good question. What you're looking at is the marginal difference between the agreements that already were approved by the board last year and the amendments that we're making. Yeah.
Got it, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We go on to item 7 from Kent County Community Action. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to accept and appropriate $1,800,000 in various grants from the State of Michigan, Area Agency on Aging of West Michigan, the Interurban Transit Partnership, and the donations to the Kent County Community Action Fund contingent upon execution of a contract, and to authorize the board chair or designate to execute grant agreement and approve grant extensions and changes within 15% of the original award. The following list identifies the various grants and programs, donations to be accepted and appropriate to the Kent County Community Action Fund. You'll see them listed here. Community Service Block Grant, Older American Act Outreach Grant, Commodity Supplemental Fund Program Grant, Nutrition Services Incentive Program, the Emergency Fund Assistance Program, Low Income Heating Energy Assistance Program, and the Interurban Transit Grant, totaling $1.8 million. Corporate Counsel will review and approve as to form all contracts prior to execution.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved and supported? Moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Commissioner Voorhees.
Thank you, Chair Jones. So this takes no general fund appropriation. Is that correct?
There will be some. Matthew?
And that was moved by Commissioner Melton and supported by Commissioner Voorhees. You're welcome.
Correct. These grant funds as they're situated here, are require zero community match grant, general fund dollars.
Okay, that's good. We like that.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us to an item from the prosecutor's office. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to the board to increase for the police report fee from $10 to $20 to the prosecutor's office effective October 1, 2018. The prosecuting attorney currently charges a flat rate of $10 to retain attorneys and defendants for police reports. This fee includes all initial discovery, including the complaint and police reports, as well as materials, including CDs, DVDs, flash drives, and other digital media. As required by our fiscal policy on fees and charges, departments are to review fees annually and recommend changes to the Board of Commissioners. The police report fee was last increased in 2009 from $5 to $10. There's a request from the prosecutor's office to increase the police report from $10 to $20. If approved, the prosecutor estimates an increase in revenue of approximately $12,000 annually will be used to offset the increasing cost of discovery in digital media. The prosecutor's office has confirmed that this fee is allowed under the Michigan law. This is the only fee charged by the prosecutor's office other than fees allowed in connection with FOIA requests as allowed by FOIA statute. The prosecutor's office recommends that if approved, the fee increase take effect October 2018.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Commissioner Hennessy.
As I understand it, our fees are to cover the costs and cannot be more than what the costs are. So even doubling this, does this cover what the costs are?
I don't believe so.
Hello, Matthew.
My understanding is it doesn't totally cover our costs. There's been a boom in discovery of digital media, so cameras, pictures, video, and so to sort through that and get that to defense attorneys and others is costing us more. Based on it's doubling the cost, and this is what the prosecutor's office recommended. They should be able to charge to help cover some of those costs.
Is there any plan to assess, to really look at what the actual costs are, given the,
I could check in with Brandy, their office administrator, to see how detailed their costing system is, to see what potential there is, but at this time, I have to say I haven't done that research, so I don't know.
We'll get back with you.
We'll get back.
So it's a cost allocation question, right?
As I hear the question, you're asking Commissioner Hennessy if this fee covers the entire cost of the service to do this. So I would have to look into that to learn more.
We can confirm that with you, but in all likelihood, it probably
I'm sure
doesn't.
it doesn't cover more than what the costs are.
Well, and with that, I have a question. Are some harder to get than others, right? Should there be a tiered system for what they're requesting versus?
Again, it's been a blanket fee, whether it's easy or hard.
Right.
So I don't
I
know
mean-
what's in the law, what we could do or not do.
And I'm not sure either. I just thought I would ask because it just makes me wonder if that doesn't make some sense, if there's something that, takes seconds versus something that takes hours. One could argue there would be a different fee for something that takes seconds versus something that takes hours.
We can look into that for you and talk to Prosecutor Becker and check into that. And what's allowable and what's not.
And whether they could do it tiered or not, we can find it out for you.
Commissioner Bukowski.
Thank you, Chair. Do you know if the prosecutor has spoken much with the customers of this service? I'm assuming most of these are requested by defense attorneys. And so is this like a pass-through to indigent defense fund, or is just, who's requesting these, and is there any feedback?
the conversation I had with the prosecutor on this is that many of the defense attorneys probably won't like it, but they'll understand that they have to, that this is reasonable, it hasn't been increased, and there's a lot of work to be done. So he has done some outreach to talk about it to some of his partners, constituent customers. Yeah.
All right.
Anyone else? Well, I'm going to vote yes today, but I'd like to get the answers to my question before it goes to the board. Thanks. And,
Madam Chair, I agree.
yeah, and if you can get that to the whole committee, that would be great. All right, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 9 from the sheriff.
Yes, this is a request to add 3 county road patrol officer positions to provide school resource officer services to Comstock Park Public Schools, Sparta Area Schools, and the Kent Intermediate School District. Appropriate $160,000 to the 2018 Sheriff's Special Fund budgets for the programs, and authorize the board chair to approve all applicable agreements. The sheriff is requesting to contract with Comstock Park Public Schools, Sparta Area Schools, and the Kent Intermediate School District, provide 1 school resource officer and a vehicle for each school system. The need for the additional resource officers will be met by adding 3 additional county patrol officer positions at a cost of $128,000 annually per officer, including wage and benefits, vehicle, equipment, and other costs. Comstock Park and Sparta schools will each pay 70% of the wage and benefits costs of the officer, with the sheriff's department paying the remaining 30%. The Kent ISD will pay 100% of the wage and benefit costs. In addition, Sparta and Comstock Park will each pay $245 per month towards the cost of the vehicle used for the resource officers, and Kent ISD will pay $350 per month. All applicable contracts have been reviewed and approved as to form by corporate counsel. If funding is eliminated or decreased, the positions will be eliminated unless continuation funding is approved pursuant to the fiscal policy on grants, contracts, and donations. This item was recommended for approval by the Legislative and Human Resources Committee at its August 14 meeting.
Okay, is there a motion to approve? Okay, moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Melton.
My question just is so that I can have a better understanding. KISD is going to pay 100% of the wage and benefit costs, Sparta and Comstock Park 70%, with the sheriff's paying the extra 30%, and then on top of that, ISD is going to pay almost $100 more a month. And I'm not saying that's good, bad, or otherwise, but why is that, please?
Thank you. Very good question. Back when this body agreed to the principle of the 70-30 split, it was one of the criteria was for those school districts or those schools where the sheriff's office and us would be the primary response unit. And KISD is not in the county. We're not the primary response unit for that. However, Grand Rapids Public Schools did not want to take on the responsibility of the SRO, so they came to us. So we're willing to do it for 100% reimbursement costs, whereas the rest of the schools, they're in the county, we would be the primary responding.
So now other school districts, because I know that Kentwood High School is under county sheriff's department. They're not on here because they have not requested this, is that?
That is correct. Okay. We are in negotiations with them and talking with them, but at this point in time, they have not requested a SRO.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, Commissioner Antor.
Good morning, Sheriff. Could you give me an example of what an SRO in Sparta, what his day would look like, as far as within the separate buildings, like the high school, middle school,
well,
so on and so forth?
Typically, the SROs are assigned to the superintendent, and the superintendent working with the principals based on whatever issues that school district is facing at that moment in time. We'll have that SRO working with that particular principal. Typically, they're within the high school, and they're working on mentoring students, at-risk students, working with the teachers. They also provide resources and teach various classes on school safety and issues around the school. They work with the young people. They work in the ball games, at the ball games, the dances, and spend a lot of time. On top of all that, they take the criminal complaints that occur within the school district. Assaults and thefts and larcenies and accidents and things like that, they get involved with.
And these are armed, they'll be armed?
Yes, sir.
Police officers?
Oh, yes.
Which is a good thing. And how do you, as far as after an 8-hour shift, you have a football game or a dance, is that covered under an overtime type
For the most part, that's covered under, they work the same hours as the school, and then they accrue that time and take it off during the summertime.
Okay. Very good.
No, not on overtime, generally speaking.
Thank you.
I just want to add that I've spent some time myself talking to some of the superintendents who have SROs in my district, and there is an additional piece that isn't necessarily tied to a set duty, but there is a relationship that's built between this officer and the students that I think is an incredible advantage. I think it really helps a positive relationship with law enforcement, and there is more connection there than what I believe you see on paper that I think is incredibly valuable. And it's just very difficult to put a price tag on that for some of these stories that I have heard. So I think this is a fabulous program. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
Real quick, thank you, Chair. The part that comes from the Sheriff's General Fund budget, is this, it was money there already, or is this new dollars into the Sheriff's line item to fund these 3 positions?
Yes.
Yes, it was there.
We're using some existing dollars for the remainder of this year, and then new dollars in the 19.
Okay.
And if I might just add, there are over 60,000 students that come under your preview every school day that are the responsibility of the county for public safety. 60,000 that we're responsible for. Last year, starting in January to June of last year, we handled 45 serious school threat reports, 9 of which the prosecutor actually issued warrants on. It's a big responsibility, and already this year, I mean, schools are just, some aren't even started, some are started, and we've already had 1 serious incident. It is a really critical program.
Hey, yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
Well, I mean, to that point, I mean, those 60,000 students are also under our purview when they're not in school. And so we have school resource officers. How, I guess it's back to some of our questions in the work session related to your priorities with road patrol and responding to crime. You know, how much time and energy do you have for, I'd call them community resource officers, you know, working with the youth when they're not in school? Or is that something that we just don't have? I mean, the city of Grand Rapids has community police officers, you know, I mean, do we have a similar thing within the sheriff's department, or we just don't have the resources?
No, we do, and the 60,000 students that are under our responsibility, it's a different responsibility when they're in a school setting than when they're at home under their parents' responsibility. When they're at home under their parents' responsibility, those enforcement and response actions are governed by both community police officers, township patrols, and general patrols. When they're all united under a school setting or a school building or a school event, it ramps up a whole new set of responsibility and a whole new set of issues.
All right, thank you.
Hey, anyone else? Okay, Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us to item number 10, also from the Sheriff's Department. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to add 3 county road patrol officer positions to provide enhanced patrol services to Byron Township, and appropriate $89,000 to the 2018 Sheriff's Special Fund budget for the programs, and to authorize the board chair to approve all applicable agreements. Effective October 1, 2018, the sheriff is requesting to expand the scope of an existing agreement with Byron Township to add another 1.5 units of service or 12 hours daily by adding 3 county road patrol officer positions and a vehicle. Township will pay the full cost of wages and benefits for each position. The cost of vehicle, uniforms, and equipment is paid by the sheriff. All applicable contracts have been reviewed and approved as to form by corporate counsel. If funding is eliminated or decreased, the positions will be eliminated unless continuation funding is approved pursuant to fiscal policy on grants, contracts, and donations. This item was recommended by the Legislative and Human Resources Committee at its October 14 meeting.
Thank you, Wayman. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And support? Okay, moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Brevi.
I have more of a comment than a question. As we know, Byron Township has been an area of significant growth. It neighbors my also growing townships. But I think one of the biggest reasons this is needed is because of the growth in the Tanger Outlet Mall. I just was there on this weekend, seeing 2 deputies there. There's always a deputy, it seems like, at the Outlet Mall. But there's a high rate of shoplifting there. So, having these extra resources is very important to the community to continue to keep people safe. So I will be supporting this.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That brings us to miscellaneous. Is there any Commissioner miscellaneous this morning? All right, seeing none, we will adjourn. The next meeting date is Tuesday, September 4th.
I am Kent County. I am Kent County.
I am Kent County.
We are 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 Kent County.
Beya, Kent County. Ami, Kent County.
Somos Kent County.
Mas Ira, Kent County.
We are Kent County. We are Kent County. We are Kent County. Oh yeah.